गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः।
भजलो जी हनुमान, भजलो जी हनुमान, भजलो जी हनुमान, भजलो जी हनुमान। श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधार। भरनो रघुवर बिमल यशा
जो दायक प्रचार। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके
सुमिरो पवन कुमार।
बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार।
भजलो जी हनुमान, भजलो जी हनुमान। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल रामा, अंजनी भूत पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंग, कुमत निवार सुमति के संगी। कंचन वरण विराज सुवेशा, कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा। हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजे, कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन, तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन। वीरावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज करबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित सुनिबे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि रंग जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुवीर हर्ष उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई। सहस बदन तुम्हारो यश गावे, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद शारद सहित अहिसा। यम कुबेर दिक्पाल जाति, कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना, राम मिलाए समारो आपे, तीनहु लोक हाथ के कापे। भूत पिशाच संकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा। संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ज्ञान जोड़ावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई रावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवाले, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को भावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुपर पुर जाई, कहा जन्म हरि भक्त पाए। और देवता चित नर लय, हनुमत से सर्वस कर। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। जो शत बार बात कर कोई, टूट ही बंदी मास करोई। जो यह पर हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साधी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा तेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय महादेवा। भजो रे हनुमान, 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 भजो रे हनुमान। पवन तनय संकट हरना, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। सिया प्रभु रामचंद्र की जय।
पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय. Putting the hands together, closing the physical eyes. We all concentrate and meditate upon that divine master, asking for guidance and protection. We all pray. Om Gajananam Bhutaganaadisevitam Kapita Jambu Palasara Bhakshanam Umasutam Shoka Vinashikarkam Namami Vigneshwar Parapankajam Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Saraswati Rupena Sanskritam Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaram गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। नागेन्द्रहारं त्रिलोचनायां भस्माङ्गरागाय महेश्वराय नित्याय शुलाय दिगम्बराय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय। ॐ अञ्जनी गर्भासनमुखो वायुपुत्रो महाबलो कुमारो ब्रह्मचारी च हनुमान में प्रसिद्ध में। ॐ भूर्भुवस्व तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गदेवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि ओम। प्रेम से बोले श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। पवन पुत्र हनुमान की। Let us all join Ramayana Sumiran. Om Jehi Sumirat Jehi Sumirat Siddha ho
गणनायक परिवार बदना
करो अनुग्रह सो
बुद्धिराशि सुबगुण सदना
मूक होई पाचा
अंगूठरे गिरि पर गहना
जासु कृपा सुदया
जबहु सकल
नील सरो प्रहुषा करो सो मम पूनयेनु समदे जाहि दीन परने
करहु कृपा मरदयमयना
बंदव गुरु पर
कृपा सिंधु नर रूप हरि
महामोह तम पो प्रेम से बोले श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. So children of God, last evening we commenced a wonderful katha, and that katha tells to us that there is only one link between God and ourselves, and that is the love that we develop to the lotus-like feet of Bhagwan. It continues to tell to us that the first principle of devotion is to find yourself in the company of the saints, to find yourself into the sadhu samaj. And then it says, Dusarirati mama katha prasanga, that you must understand God into the whole format of the world. Yes, you'd have some people following the path of being dual, and some will be non-dual. And duality is when we look at the Lord as He's somewhere, and we are journeying towards the Lord. Non-duality teaches us that God is with us every time, that energy, and each one of the katha that we do shows to us that each one of these saints who have went into that dualistic part, that part where it is two, God and you, showed that how that person have been able to transcend and bring it now as one, because that's the final objective. The final objective is to be one with the Lord. Prem se bole Shri Ramchandra Bhagwan ki jai. गज सेवा हो राम तीसरी भक्ति अमान चौथी भक्ति मम गुण Katha commences telling to us that Guru Pad Pangaja Seva, that we must at all times pay obeisances to the Guru. We must pay obeisances to the Guru. Kagbasunji was narrating to Garud, and he was telling to Garud, he says, in the last Kali age that he lived, was not talking about the present one, he was talking about the last one. And he told to Garudji, he said there was a famine. And after the famine, he had to move from the place that he was living to the next place. Just like how people are migrating into the world today, where the income is not as generating as it should. They move to grounds where you will get it better. So Kagbasunji had to move from one place of getting food to another place. And he says, so he met with an old Brahmin. And that Brahmin taught him how to pray to the formulas of how to pray to Bhagwan Shiva. And he said he was very, very devout to Lord Shiva. It says, and one day, when he was reciting the formula to Bhagwan Shiva, and he was very much deep into the formula, the Guru walked in. And when the Guru walked in, Kagbasunji did not pay heed to the Guru. Paid no heed to the Guru. He continued, man, I'm praying to Lord Shiva, And that, my dear friends, angered Lord Shiva and gave to him a curse. And tell him, he said, you remain like a snake there. And your guru came. You never went out to meet him. You remain like a snake. You will be a python for the rest of your life. Who had to beg for Kagvashunji? The guru had to beg and gain. And so, my dear friends, he was given a certain amount of time as a snake, and then he came as the bird again. And he never wanted to give up the bird because of the fact that he was so knowledgeable through that body. Prem Sabole Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan Ki Guru Pad Pankaja Seva. It is very important to understand that we need to do worship to the divine Guru. It says Guru Pad Pankaja Seva. Bandava Guru Pada Kanj Kripa Sindhu Nararupa Hari. That the Guru, my dear friends, is that one who will move us from one stage to the next. But it says that the Guru is that light of God here on this earth. God cannot come here to give you the light, so he gave you the Guru to give you that light of his, so to guide you to the path. So Guru Pad Pankaja Seva Tisari Bhakti Aman. That's the third principle of devotion. The first principle is to find yourself in the Sadhu Samaj, to find yourself in satsang. And as I always, and the observation now, not only here, right? The observation throughout is where satsang have the least amount of support. Where it have the least amount of support. You all remember well, just before Diwali, Ruplalji came to sing with a group of real professional musicians and so on. What happened? All there was full, the yard was full. And this is what we have in this world today. But my dear friends, we must not put measuring sticks on anyone, because life is like a ladder. Some people on a higher treader and some people on a lower treader. So we must not in any way judge anybody with our standard. We have to understand where that person is at. And if I am higher than him, I must be able to help hold his hands and lift him up. So that is the role of the Guru. Guru Pad Pankaja Seva Tisari Bhakti Aman. Chauti Bhakti Mama Gungan. Karahi Kapat Ji Gun. It says that you must sing the name of the Lord. That's the fourth principle. Singing and glorifying the name of the Lord in a very guileless way. You must not have ego in your mind. You're not because you hear someone singing in a particular way, you must try to, if you're singing, you must sing you. And let that come from your heart and present it to God. It must not have any hidden agenda when you sing in the name of God. A lot of people sing for the name and the fame of their voice. There are some people, if you don't have a good song system, they cry you down and they leave and they never sing again. My drummer sometimes does do that. So, they are young. But when you come from the era of me, where there was no song system when you start, your sweetness of your voice have to come from the bare what it is. And we did well without song system there and then. Had wonderful satsangs also. So my dear friends, it says that the fourth principle of devotion is you must sing that name of that Lord without any attachment, without any handle, without any strings to it. And now we continue with the katha this evening. Jai Rama Sita Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Sri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Sri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Mantra japa mama vedha viswaha panchama bhajan so veda prakasam Jai Rama Sita Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jai Rama Sita Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Chata Dhama Sila Bhirati Bahukarma Nirata Nirantara Sajana Dharma Jai Rama Sita Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jai Rama Sita Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jai Rama Sita Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama प्रेम से बोले श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की मंत्र जाप मम दृढ़ विश्वास पंच भजन so Veda Prakas. It says the Vedas glorify that mantra jap is a very essential part of developing yourself. Children of God, as we live this life of ours, we come to understand that this mind of ours, you know, the M-I-N-D, the human personality is determined and defined by the quality and texture of one's mind and intellect. And what, my dear friends, create that texture, that divine texture of the mind? You know, you can have many different textures. You can be able to grow. Some people making a roti, if you eat it while it's hot, you can't eat it again. And some people again will cook a roti and you could have it till the next day and it's still very, you know. So I'm just talking, I'm not talking about anybody, you know, in particular. I'm just talking about, my dear friends, the texture. That word texture, trying to give you an understanding of what the word texture means. Texture is the quality. So it says here, your personality. And your personality determines everything about you, you know. You cannot want to have wayward thoughts in your mind and feel your texture will be divine. No, it cannot. Because you will end up, you start up nice, talking about God and everything else. And where you end up? You end up straight in the talk that your mind is more saturated into. Have you ever been to a yajna and the politician come and they give the politician an opportunity to speak? And oh my God, how nice he will start if his Ramayana about Ram and the Sita and the village and this and all of that. And before 5 sentences go, the politician becomes the politician. So my dear friends, you need to create the texture of your mind so that your mind will feed the intellect with such, It tells to us, if the talking parrot in the morning hears Sitaram, Sitaram, he will say Sitaram throughout. And if he hear the language that the dictionary have as he wake in the morning too, the parrot will use that language. It's the same thing with our minds. What our minds has been fed with, that is what is it going to feed the intellect. And when it feeds the intellect, that intellect creates the action. And then you want to know how you're behaving. So, sometimes by your own self, when you check back what you're behaving and how you're talking, you're not behaving like a real fool today. Why? Because these were the thoughts that you had striving within your mind. These were the thoughts that you have, those seeds of those wonderful thoughts now germinating within you. And this is what mantra jap does. When you do jap, my dear friends, you are now rehabilitating your mind. You are rehabilitating your mind because the mind is a storehouse of thoughts. Thoughts come, my dear friends, from what you see, smell, taste, and touch. And each one of those thought stimuli that comes and creates itself into a thought into our mind comes with a certain emotion. That is why I think as last night I was telling to you that Narad Ji tells to us, or night before, that the great masters start their part by chanting and singing the glories of God. That is why Prabhu Shri Ram tells to us in Uttarakhand in Kali Yuga Mahima Katha. He says that in this age, Ram Sumiran is going to give us salvation. Ram Sumiran. And Narad Ji in Narad Bhakti Sutra tells to us in more detail how it happens. It says when you start to chant the name of God and you totally allow your life, your mind to be saturated in the singing, what happens? It creates that texture in your mind that you start looking at everything. You start seeing what you're singing into everything. So mantra jap is very, very important. What happens again? As I always give this wonderful example. I don't think any one of you had to go to the rice mill when they're going to crack the hand for it to come into the rice grains. The machine that they have a crank handle, and they will turn it and they will turn it and they will turn it until it gets the speed, and then the engine starts up. The same thing is with your waka and your lawnmower and all of that. That thread that you pull there, is giving the engine a certain amount of rev, and then it starts. And then it does not end there. You have now a throttle in which you give it more gas. And so when you give it more gas, what you get? More energy. And when you have more energy, you can send out more energy to the world and do your work. So too, my dear friends, if you start reciting a mantra, it will start very slow. And then it picks up momentum. And as it picks up that momentum, the more speed that it takes, what happens? The more energy the mantra gets. So everybody believed that Pandit give me the Guru mantra, my Guru give me the Guru mantra. And believe he tell me, he say that Guru mantra will help me anytime I want. But if you don't, my dear friends, energize the mantra, how are you going to use it? How are you going to get the benefit from it? If I give to you a flashlight that needs charging, but I give you without charge, or I give you fully charged, and you keep using it, and you're not charging it back, what will happen one day? And the light will go dim on you. So too, my dear friends, the Guru can give you his darshan in many ways. He give you the darshan by looking into your eyes and give you that energy. By a touch you on your head and you get them. And then in Trinidad, the most common method of getting the Guru's energy is through jap. And when you use that mantra jap, it's then that will come and get its delight. And that, my dear friends, will then be able to work for you. So mantra jap is very important. We must spend some time each day and do mantra jap. Sometimes we say we're too busy. But we must do that jap, my dear friends, with viswas. It must be with unwavering faith. You must have faith in what you're reciting. Don't say that, okay, Baba give me this and he said this go help me with this. But I ain't sure now, I go try it. From the moment you want to try, that's failure. You have to do it with that faith, that viswas, that it is going to bring you what you look forward for. And you will get it. Prem Sabole Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan Ki. So it tells to us the sixth form, Chart Dhama Sila Bhirati Bahu Karma. It says the sixth form is when we practice self-control and virtues, the distinct from, all the other activities, desisting ourselves from manifold activities and pursuing the conduct prescribed by the saints. This is the sixth form of devotion. Desisting from performing all the other simple actions and playful and pleasurable actions that we do, Raviji, and practice self-control. Sometimes we might want to say something that might make everybody laugh. But that something will put a little tarnish on my mind. So then I must have self-control to hold back that and don't send that and make somebody else's mind impure. Desisting from all the other actions and pursuing the conduct prescribed by the saints. And that is why you have to find yourself in the sadhu samaj. That is why you have to be in satsang. Because in satsang, that is where you will get what the saints and them prescribed in the scriptures for us. These scriptures we say is Ramayana. Yes, it is Ramayana. Ramayana is the teachings of Bhagwan Sri Ram. But these are the words of the saints. Because the saints is the one who have placed these words together. So when it tells us that we must find ourselves in the Sadhu Samaj or the Santa Samaj, you want to know where you go find a saint. Oh, Baba, everybody this and that and the other now. Yeah, no more saint and no more sadhu again. No. Those who have left us the Ramayana and all the other scriptures, the Puranas and everything else, no one could have tarnished their name. And this, my dear friends, is pure as pure can be. This is the saint. This is where you have to find yourself, where the scriptures are being imparted. That is the only place you can get what the real virtue of life, the virtue, the actions, the virtuous actions which you have to perform. Prem se bole Shri Ram Chandra Bhagwan ki jai. Jai Ram Sita Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. अधिक करी
जय राम सीता राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय
Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan ki. So the seventh principle of devotion is one must see the world full of the supreme energy. So you see, my dear friends, where this katha itself is moving from the dual part into the non-dual part. If I am to see God into everything, then it means God is everything. So it's one. And that is why the Katha by Roshan tells to us, that one who knows not God, that one who knows not, himself or Maya, that one is the one who is the true saint. Prem se bole Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Children of God, we all fight ourselves. I want to reach heaven. I want to go to Vaikunt. I want to be with Lord Shiva. I want to be with this one. But as I told to you the other night, Swami Sarva Priyananda tells to us, he said, if we are journeying to God, he said that means God is someplace. And if he's someplace, and I am someplace else, then I stay where I am. I could behave as I want because God ain't gonna know he in a different place. So devotees and friends, it says going to heaven is not the highest aim according to Hinduism. So, my dear friends, it says that the highest goal for us is to realize God, to become one with Him. This is the ideal of all religion, whether dualistic, qualified non-dualistic, or monistic. And they are all, my dear friends, they all aim at the same goal, which is the realization of God. Is to bring ourselves into that God consciousness, or to that perfected part. Devotees and friends. So we must all understand, as I started by telling to you, that this journey or this realization is like a ladder. And some people, it's a different point. Try not to forget that. Prabhu Shri Ram shows that in Lanka Khan, in the beginning of Lanka Khan. When he told them, he said, all they have to build a bridge. And Hanuman said that bridge is insignificant. There is no need for that bridge. And the Lord, my dear friends, insists that that bridge had to be built. Why? Because there were 18,000 billion monkeys of different capacity. And so, my dear friends, that Lord could not in any way chance it to allow one to say that they are going to travel, fly to Lanka, and lose them in the process. No. The true leader, he will make provision for all, the weak and those who are strong. And so will tell to you, the strong ones, he pushed them. The weak ones, he tried to lift them. So the strong one, you could push them because they could take the push. The weak ones cannot take it, so you cannot push them, but you have to still lift them. And this is what we need to do as devotees. We are strong that we can be here. There are a number of people who are weak who would not be able to reach here. And we cannot give up. We have to continue creating that situation, creating that environment to attract them. And at some point in time, they will definitely be attracted. So it tells to us again, my dear friends, that you may think, and this Swami Abhidananda words, he says, you may think that God is sitting overhead, above the clouds. But my friends, if he is sitting there, he is also sitting near you, which you imagine. He is the soul of all souls, the life of your lives. And in him, you live through him. You exist. And without him, there could not be nothing. Every breath that we inhale is not that of yours. It's not your own power. If the breath that you inhale was yours, my dear friends, you would have saved it and you might not give it. You know how we like to hoard. Just like when the pandemic started, everybody went and buy all the rice and all the flour and everything from. So who had the money and reached there first? Who was strong to reach first? Get everything, and the weak man ain't get nothing when he gone. So too, if, my dear friends, this oxygen, this air which we breathe was ours, a lot of people would have heard it. And a lot of us wouldn't get it. Prem Sabole Shri Nam Chandra Bhagavane Ki. I, for one, would not have been able to get because I do like to push in line. If the line come, I will remain in the back until whatever remain I get. Prem Sabole Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavane Ki. A fool might think that the air which is in his lungs belongs to him, but that air belongs to no one but God. Devotees and friends, you are nothing. We are nothing but an instrument. And through you, the divine force is working. You will make good use of that force, or you will abuse it. If you abuse the force, you make a mistake and you become a sinner. But if you make good use of that force, you are virtuous and you have good results. So it tells to us here, my dear friends, that this whole world is bound by the law of cause and effect, the law of causation. No one can escape this law, as it states in the Christian Bible, whatsoever thou sowest, that thou shalt reap. So my dear friends, God is not sitting somewhere beyond the cloud. And this is why the seventh principle of devotion is that one must see the world full of that supreme energy. That supreme energy is all over. We are taking from it. We are not contributing to that energy, no. We are taking from that energy because the energy is absolute. The energy is always there. But how many of us grasp hold of the opportunity? Grasp hold of the opportunity and allow that divine energy to work our lives. No. We use our mind to work our lives, and our minds, my dear friends, are aligned to the world or the Maya, the illusion, and that is why all our achievements are so temporary and end up in sadness. It gives us pain, it gives us distress. प्रेम से बोले श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय राम सीता रमन जय जय राम So it says the eighth principle of devotion is to have contentment. Contentment with whatever you have. And ahar. Because this mind will drag us down. This mind will make us look like a beggar when we look at the achievements of another person. What it leads to. When you have that craving, that is jealousy. That is what you call jealousy, my dear friends. When you cannot be contented with what you have in your hand today, that is jealousy. Because we must be aware that God is into this world. He is the universe. He grants us our quota. And if this is my quota, why am I fighting? Why am I craving someone else's quota? But this is the world of the Maya, the illusion. I get 1 million, I want 2 million. And so you work your life out until you die, and you do not have the true value of life, which is God energy, which is God's spirit. Now, mind you, I'm not saying work and do. If you could make millions, that's okay. But remember God's energy. There is a time when the millions will not be able to help you, and it's only God's energy will be able to help you. So, my dear friends, we must have that santosh. We must have that contentment. And again, he says here that we must desist. It says here, sapnehu. Sapna is a dream. So he says not sapnehu nahi. So not even in a dream that you should try to highlight the faults of another person. A person may not be behaving as you would want or as you expect. That does not mean to say you are going to highlight their fault. Because just the same way that someone, you might be angry with someone because they are not behaving as you would like or you would expect, so too someone else will be looking at you and they're expecting you to behave in a certain way and you're not behaving in that way. So as I tell to you, not all are on the same treader in the ladder. Not all are there. So my dear friends, and you know how we love to have and find these faults and everything else. So it tells to us, contentment, santosh. You know, I could have well said, well, okay, all these chairs not filled here, and just come and do 5 minutes and say Om Shanti and go home and sleep. But I'm satisfied with who is here. I am contented with who is here. It's not that I would not like to see more people. But I must be contented with what I have and give the same that I'm giving to you as I would give to the thousands. And that is contentment. Contentment, again, is that I really want to have a new motor car. But for reasons beyond my control, I do not have the amount of money to get the new motor car. Then I must appreciate the motor car that I am using, for it takes me and it do the same thing that the new motor car would do. It might just give me a little trouble now and then, but yet still, it takes me and do what I have to do. Be contented and appreciate that. Contentment can only come when you appreciate what you have. If you don't appreciate what you have, you will never be contented. And this, my dear friends, this is what happens in a lot of family. The wife mightn't be contented with the pace that the husband is getting his income. And she becomes what? Angry. She becomes, in a certain way that the husband mightn't be in appreciation. And my dear friends, if we do not appreciate what we have, then we cannot be contented. The man who is on the wheelchair should be contented he is on the wheelchair, and not because he see one riding in a scooter passing by, he must make his life miserable because he does not have a scooter. So children of God, we must appreciate what we have now. We must appreciate that very much. प्रेम से बोले श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की We must not just only be a group of fault finders. And that again is why I tell everybody, please stop listening to these talk shows. I don't know if they're still on 106.5 on mornings. But if you listen to all of them is only complaining. That's what are they? Complaining. And no solution coming. Why not come a morning? Nobody might listen to you, it's true, but the universe will be listening. And continue to give the solution to the problem that you see. One day the universe will bring that into fruition. But you continue to put negative in the universe, and the negative will continue to live with us until thy kingdom come. Prem Sabal Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan Ki. You continue to put sickness on your life and say, oh God, I ain't good today, I ain't feeling good today. You will never get well. Prem Sabal Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan Ki. I remember I worked a few years in the post office. And the morning that I was not feeling like going to, that's the morning I'm making sure I deliver every single letter I had in my bag. Because you cannot allow your mind to rule you. You cannot allow yourself to be slave to your mind. I tell all the children who are studying, the day that you feel that tomorrow I'll go pick up the book, that is the night you should take and pound the most, and you will get the most out of that night. Prem Sabal Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan Ki. So devotees and friends, we reach to the last one tonight. Jai Rama Sita Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. So it says the ninth principle of devotion demands that one should be guileless and straightforward in one dealings with everybody. And Prabhu Shri Ram here, my dear friends, has bring it to everybody. We must be, my dear friends, guileless. That word guileless means that you must not have any deceitful thought and those kind of things in your mind. No cunning thought. So we must be, guileless and straightforward in our dealings with all. It says, and the ninth one conclude by saying, it says, and the devotee's heart should cherish with implicit faith in me, without either carrying yourself into an exaltation, saying that I am great devotee, or in a state of depression, I am not reaching the goal that I want. No. You make your steps and you will be given the opportunity to lift yourselves. The Lord says, that you must be able to be aware that the saints are greater than I, the supreme power. Devotees and friends, the Lord is showing us how to appreciate. The saints are the ones who are able, they are the ones who are doing all the groundwork to keep the devotees together, so that that one vibration will be there moving to the Lord. And he shows appreciation to that. He says, when one sees those saints as greater than I am, that is a bhakta, that is a devotee. Prem Sabali Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan Ki. Not like some leaders, when they reach, everybody must bow. Yes, the bowing as to your guru is a matter of respect. But what I mean, you submit yourself. No, you don't. The leader instead submit themselves to the followers, because he are the one who will be able to guide them and lift them in the path. Prem Sabali Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan Ki. So the Lord says, and told to Shabari, he says, Nari Purusha Sacharachar Koi. He said, whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Once you have even one of these qualities, you are able to make contact with me. And you, dear lady, you have all 9. And so you will have the fruit of my darshan. If Shabari received the fruit of the Lord darshan, my dear friends, why can't we not put a few of this into our lives? Prem Sabali Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan Ki. Who's singing a bhajan? Ravi singing a bhajan? Dinesh sing. If you sing, Dinesh go play dholak. And then after we'll have the cracking of the coconut, and Pandit Jai will lead us into Arati before we close this evening. Will you come forward, Nanirav? The Lord teach us how we must adjust to, We must be flexible.
मंगल मूर्ति राम दुरारी आन परायव गिरिधारी हे बजरंग बली हनुमान हे महावीर करो कल्याण मंगल मूर्ति बजरंग बली हनुमान, हे महावीर करो कल्याण, हे महावीर करो कल्याण। तीन लोक तेरा उजियारा, दुखियों का तूने काज सवारा। तीन लोक तेरा उजियारा, दुखियों का तूने काज सवारा। हे जगवंदन केसरी नंदन, हे जगवंदन केसरी नंदन, कष्ट हरो कृपा निधान, कष्ट हरो कृपा निधान। मंगल मूर्ति राम दुरारी, आन पराय भीरारी। हे बजरंग बली हनुमान, हे महावीर करो कल्याण, हे महावीर करो कल्याण। तेरे द्वारे जो भी आया, काली नहीं कोई रात आया। तेरे द्वारे जो भी आया, काली नहीं कोई रात आया। दुर्गम काज बनावन हारे, दुर्गम काज बनावन हारे। मंगलमय दीजो बलदान, मंगलमय दीजो बलदान। मंगल मूर्ति राम दुरारी, आन पराय भीरारी। हे बजरंग बली हनुमान, हे महावीर करो कल्याण। तेरा सुमिरन हनुमत वीरा, नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा। राम लखन सीता मन बसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। चरण परे का कीजे जा, चरण परे का कीजे जा। मंगल मूर्ति राम दुरारी, आन पराय भीरारी। हे बजरंग बली हनुमान, हे महावीर करो कल्याण, हे महावीर करो कल्याण, हे महावीर करो कल्याण, करो कल्याण।
पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय. Coconut time. Take this ammonium, put it down there for Pandajai. And bring down one here for me. Yeah. I'll sit here for a while and carry Pandajai one day first. Coconut, everybody. प्रेम से बोले श्री पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय. Children of God, may you all pray now in your own words. Hari Om Tat Sat Om Tat Sat. Om Sri Krishna Krishna Sagyai Pavitya Mamasya Vidyar Pradve Shri Divala Kalipati Saptame Vaivas Manvantar Kalipatam Charane Jambu Dvipe West Indies Kande Arivatarike Deshantargati Trinidad Desh Hari Om Sri. Call your address where you live. Om Sri Chetri Grami Bhautavatari Tad Paraye. And now call this address where we are at now, 56 Mapipi Road, Chetre Grami Bhautavatari Tad Paraye. Hari Om Tat Sat. Whatever wish you have now, Daihik Daivik Bhautik Tapatrem Nirvamartya Devi Grahari Shimuni Madhava. Hari Om Anjani Garbhasan Mukhu Vayu Putro Mahabal Kumaro Brahmachari Cha Hanumaname Prasidhame. Om Sri Pavana Putra Hanuman ki Jai. All right, Arti.
रामदूत विद्महे कपिराजाय धीमहि तन्नो हनुमान प्रचोदयात्. आरती की जय हनुमान लला की. आरती की जय हनुमान लला की. दुष्ट दल रघुनाथ लला की. दुष्ट दलना रघुनाथी तला की. दुष्ट दलना रघुनाथी तला की. आरती की जय हनुमान लला की. आरती की जय हनुमान लला की. जाके बल से इधर कापे रोग दोष दे निकट नहीं जाके. आरती की जय हनुमान लला की. आरती की जय हनुमान लला की. अंजनी पुत्र महाबलदाई संत के प्रभु सदा सहाई. आरती की जय हनुमान लला की. दलना रघुनाथ तला की. रघुनाथ तला की. रघुनाथ तला की. रघुनाथ तला की. रघुनाथ तला के धरी धीर रघुनाथ बताया. लंका जारे सुरा सहाये. आरती की जय हनुमान लला की. आरती की जय हनुमान लला. आरती की जय हनुमान लला की. वंदे संतम हनुमान जय कपीशा, जय जय कपीशा, जय जय कपीशा हनुमंता। वायुदेवा वानर धीरा, वायुदेवा वानर धीरा, अंजन तनया हनुमंता, अंजनेया
Putting the hands together, closing the physical eyes, we all pray. Om Asatoma Satgamayam Tamasoma Jyotirgamayam Mrityorama Amritam Gamayam Om Tvameva Matang Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhum Chasika Tvameva Tvameva Vidyam Dravinam Tvameva त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेवम् ॐ शान्तिं शान्तिं शान्ति शान्ति हरि ओम। पवन पुत्र हनुमान की, आदिशक्ति देवी दुर्गा माता की, सनातन धर्म की, ओम श्री गुरुदेवता की जय जय सीताराम। All please have your seat. Arati Prasad and refreshment will reach you all. Sitaram.